What's up, everyone? Pongroomproductions coming back at you guys with another movie review. We're doing a movie off of Netflix. Y'all might have heard of it. It is
Leave the World Behind?
Leave the World Behind. It was number one for a little while. I'm not sure if it's number
It's
one.
top five or
Yeah, it's
something.
it's in the top 10.
Sure.
Um, Executively produced by the Obamas, and it's a apocalyptic movie. So
Yeah, I mean, we're doing spoilers.
yeah. So it's been out for about a week, I want to
Okay,
say.
sure.
So let's talk about it. Right out the gate on a 1 to 10 scale, I'm gonna give this one a 7. It had me glued to the screen, and I watched it while I was working, so I had to put it down and come back to it.
Yeah.
There were many times where I could have just forgotten about it and then not finished it. So the fact that it was like, oh, I got to see what happens next, that gives it some points. I would give it a 6, but I was thinking about that part of like, okay, well, I did put my phone down at least 4 times. I did, have to work, and then I was like excited to watch what happened next. So I gave that additional point. What did you think of it?
It really strikes me because, we do movie theater, movies in the theater reviews. It really did strike me as a Netflix movie, which are good, but they're just not the same feel as in the being in even if you saw this on a big screen in a movie theater, it's got a different feel
Yeah,
as a Netflix film.
yeah.
So right off the gate, right off the bat, I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay, not far off.
As I'm hearing you talk, I was almost going to come in with a 5, but I gave it a 6 because you're right. Like I was interested in what was going to happen next. Also, the cast is top tier,
Yes,
great
yes.
actors.
Let's say who was in the cast. So
Uh huh.
it was
Marshawn Ali,
Marshawn Ali. It was Julia Roberts,
Ethan Hawke,
Ethan Hawke, and
Kevin Bacon,
Kevin
and then the
Bacon.
kids who
Yes,
are
yes.
whatever. Yeah.
That's what got me. I heard the buzz about the Obamas being executive producers.
So you thought, yeah,
So
definitely, yeah.
that intrigued me, and then I saw the cast, and I said, okay, I should watch it. If it's a bit of a
It's United States under attack, basically.
yeah. It's modern day, and it just kind of touches on everything that's going on in the current world. Let's talk about the spooky aspect because movies are made in years in advance. I'm sure this wasn't made a year ago. Probably even longer than a year ago. I
I'm
would
sure it
say.
was based on a book, apparently.
It was a book that came
Yeah.
out in 2020.
It was 2020?
Yeah,
Oh,
2020.
okay.
Um, let's talk about the spookiness that there was friends all up in this movie, and then the one guy
You mean,
just died.
oh,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
thought about that too. Matthew Perry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he just passed away from what was it, an overdose?
No, they don't know yet.
Well,
They don't know.
he-
They haven't done an autopsy. No, a lot of people.
wasn't
No
it-
one knows. He could have had a heart attack,
Wasn't it
natural
that
causes.
I thought it was. Wasn't it that he like drowned in his hot tub?
I don't know if he drowned, but he may have had a heart attack and then drowned. I mean, I don't know.
Which
I don't know.
could have been
It's
from
not
an
definitive.
overdose. You know what I mean?
We don't know, and be careful because you don't want to like slander
yeah,
or
we're
something like that. Yeah, we don't
speculation.
know. Yeah, it's not been determined what happened to him. So.
But it is a little weird though that like Friends, the theme song, that was the
Yeah, it was a
girl's
little weird.
favorite show.
I gotta say that was a cheesy element. I think they should have did away with the Friends thing. I just thought
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
lame. It's just
especially-
too big a thing.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
they could have green screen post production made that into anything. They could have changed the audio. They could have picked a different TV show out of
Yeah.
respect for
And
the
also,
fact that
did-
he just
did-
passed
Would
away.
a 13-year-old even be into Friends? Though?
I mean,
you think so?
well, that's
maybe.
I don't know. That's a whole theme of the movie was that like she liked it because it wasn't in today's world. It was
I
like
guess
in
you
another
could say that,
era.
like it was
'cause-
nostalgic for a previous.
Yeah,
Yeah, before
because-
computers were insane.
because
now,
today
yeah.
is the world is so, as they say, and it's a cuss word, effed up, but I'm gonna not
Sure,
say it because
sure. Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
get these views on YouTube. YouTube doesn't like it when you cuss.
Doesn't like when you cuss.
But that was a little creepy how they just had all the friend stuff in there. They could have just
It creeped you out.
It was like, come on, that's a little bit too on the nose. But they could have changed it. They could have easily have made it a green screen of anything else. Because just think of the rest of the people that were close to him. Now they got to watch this movie.
I mean,
and
look,
go,
man,
"Oh,
Friends
man."
is such a huge part of the
I
culture.
know, I know.
They're gonna have to deal with that.
But of course, it was that one, and then the one guy just tragically passed away. So
Right.
it's like, come on.
I
y'all-
hear you. I
yeah.
hear you. But I mean, I wouldn't
Not-
get too hung up on that. How about the fact that all three kids, Marshawn Ali's character's kid, annoying as hell.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke and Julie Roberts' two kids, annoying as hell.
Yeah, the kids were
unlikable as hell.
Yeah, the
I mean,
kids
Julie
were-
Roberts was kind of unlikable. Her character.
Yes.
Marshawn Ali and Ethan Hawke were cool.
I like those.
Yeah,
two.
they were likable. Yeah.
Let's talk. It's a bit of a. Let's give them a little bit of the plot. So basically, family's on vacation, and it must be like an Airbnb thing,
Something.
to where they rent like a super millionaire's house. You know, big pool, and it's very the house is clearly expensive. You know, and
Yeah.
they'd say, "Oh, my closest neighbor is miles away," which they have
Sure.
land, and
My thing is, why would even rich people even bother with Airbnb?
they have so many houses.
It's like,
to
why
go
would they
to.
be like, oh, we want a little extra money to let people rent and
Yeah.
like, just do gross stuff in our house? I mean,
That's a
I don't get that. I don't
passive
get
income. I don't know.
it. I don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah, a little unrealistic. You know what I mean?
It happens. People rent big ass houses.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So.
But let's continue. Basically, they're isolated. They're on a vacation house. And then within the first night, in the middle of the night, they come knocking on the door.
the owners of the house.
Yep, they come knocking on the door, and they're a little freaked out, and because earlier that day they saw an oil tanker just totally
Right.
get beached.
Also,
and,
all their cell phones aren't working. The internet's not working.
Yep. So they're trying to just be like, oh, let's put our phones down. Spend time as a family, play Jenga or whatever, and so they're a little spooked out, and they're like, well, who are you guys? And because it was only email, it wasn't. Like the one guy said, it wasn't over the phone. They don't really know what each other look like. They don't even know each other's voice. But he goes into the liquor cabinet and has the keys, which is like the big giveaway that like this is clearly their house.
But Julie Roberts is really suspicious of them.
She's
and there's an element where he didn't have his ID, he didn't have his wallet, which was like, and he even said like, you're not going to believe this.
Because she was like, well, let me just see your ID. Then.
Yeah, which would be the first thing you would probably do.
Yeah, just to be like, okay, this is the address, this is your name.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, let me just test this out. But it was nothing, and so whatever. But there was tension there because of everything going on and the unknown aspect of it all.
Sure.
But Julia Roberts was coming off as a Karen.
Karen.
Yeah, totally coming off as like a, whatever. And,
the ultimate Karen.
But you got to see where she's coming from. You know what I mean? Like strangers.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's understandable. But
later on in the movie, things getting they're getting dicier and dicier. There's like these drones dropping propaganda coupons or flyers or posters, whatever.
Something, like leaflets, you would call
and
them.
there's this crazy sound that goes off every now and then that brings them
that,
to their
that
knees.
brings like an audio attack or something, or sonic attack. Yeah.
Let's also talk about what I would have given it a 7.5, but
really,
I was entertained, but. The freaking CGI was such garbage.
Which CGI part?
The deers and the flamingos.
Yeah,
it's like
animals are really tough to do. It looked good. Well, dude, how do you get 100 deer? Like that's another element.
That's one thing.
Wildlife goes wild and crazy,
Yeah.
and they don't quite explain that. I guess because all the stuff they're doing with sonic stuff.
I don't know.
And like electromagnets or something.
Let's talk about. Well, let me get this off my chest. So basically, they could have just done a real deer or two. It didn't have to be 100 to get the point.
And then
across.
like repeat it.
Yeah, and they did it three
They
separate times.
probably did that with the Teslas. I'm pretty sure they did that.
Yeah, that was another thing. That's one thing I've always said. I always tried to talk about.
Driverless.
Like they can totally hack that and take your car. And it was interesting that they used Teslas to then block off like all the major highways as like a barricade.
It was a neat trick.
You know what I mean? And there's a spooky aspect to it. You know what I mean? Because technically, there's so much technology within a car, they could maybe take control of the self-driving.
As long if it's a self-driving car.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
And then another thing, the satellite phone did not work. That's when I knew
satellites were down.
That's when I knew they were in deeper, deeper crap than they thought, because a satellite phone, A, they're expensive, and B, they're supposed to work.
How much is a satellite phone?
Like I want to say like $1,000.
That's what a cell phone is.
Yeah, I mean they're probably a little more now, but like I don't know. Probably a couple thousand.
I don't know.
They're dedicated. You know what I mean? They're supposed to go straight to a specific satellite to make specific call. That's a lot of money to transmit
Well, the
You know
guy
what I
even
mean?
says like if you can see the sky, like as long as you're not covered with trees
Yeah.
and it gets to the sky, you're good. Yeah.
And that's when I knew. I was like, all right, they're in.
Yeah, they're effed.
Yeah, they're effed. And then you saw the jets fall out the sky.
Yeah.
There would have been more of that, by the way. There would have been many more jets
Right.
falling out the sky. And I feel like there would have been an at least a few helicopters with a few siren projectors.
Well,
with
but
some-
remember they were in like a kind of a rural area.
Yeah,
so
there could have been like authority, and you know what I mean, like police at least going, everyone stay off the streets.
but
There
it's
wasn't
again it's a
nothing.
very rural area.
Yeah,
so that's how they explain
They
that.
kind of
yeah.
got away with that.
Tell me about these quotes you're talking about.
Okay. So we're almost at 10
Yeah,
minutes.
we're spending too much time on plot.
We
You know,
got
it's basically America under attack, and it becomes slowly more
Up there it is. But okay, let me
slowly
read it.
more understood and
Okay.
revealed that we're under attack.
So this is a quote. I
This
guess
is from the movie. quote?
this is from Today All Day website, today.com. It's a quote from I believe the director's name is Ismail, ESMAIL.
Ishmael, whatever.
Okay,
yeah.
so
go
quote,
ahead.
in the original draft of the script, I definitely pushed things a lot farther than they were in the film, comma, and President Obama, comma, having the experience he does have, comma, was able to ground me a little bit on how things might unfold in reality, end quote.
He's like, chill out with all that, you know.
Okay, one moment. There's another one. This is also from the same .com website, today.com. Quote, he had a lot of notes about the characters and the empathy we would all have, and end
Yeah.
quote. And he continues to say, quote, I have to say he is a big movie lover, and he wasn't just giving notes about things that were from his background, period. He was giving notes as a fan of the book, and he
Yeah.
wanted to see a really good film, end quote.
Sure.
But that being said,
By the way, as a side thing, could you imagine the things that a president sees when they get like in the door and like the CIA, the DARPA,
yeah.
when they finally get you in the room, we're like, okay, here's what's really going on
Yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah.
aliens, with robots, you know, whatever.
Yeah, that's probably why his hair went
Yeah,
white.
he went white. Yeah, he aged like 20 years in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he was only allowed to divulge so much information about what
God,
he
yeah.
thought would really happen. But I want to talk about the elephant in the room. We got to address it. The whole don't trust white people thing.
The racial.
Do you
element.
remember that?
Well, that's the girl. She's very
Yeah.
woke and all of this and that. And the father, Marshawn Ali, is like, hey, you know, chill out with that.
Yeah,
you know?
but for an
and
ex,
it was also implied that the mother was white. It kind of implied, like,
is it implied?
it was a
though?
little bit implied because it was like, you know, even like your mom would say
I didn't
that. Like,
sense that.
no, really, because it's like even your mom would say it because.
No.
I don't know. It seemed like I got the vibe that the mom who's not shown, and she's probably dead because she was on a plane flight.
What
you know,
think-
Marshawn Ali's wife.
Your takeaway is that the mother was white, and then she would say, "Don't trust white people" while being white.
Well, I can't remember the exact dialogue, but she said even mom would say would agree
Yeah.
with that. You know, which
But-
kind of which I could be wrong, but it's the implication that look, yes.
Hold on.
So she doesn't trust white people. She's very like, you know, militant or woke or whatever you want to call it.
Well, my thing is, you got President Obama executively producing this.
Yes.
And then I clearly just read you a few quotes, and he was very much involved in the script and or reading drafts of the script.
However,
And
I
then
hear what you're saying.
and then they let that fly.
But she's a
in the
character.
movie.
But that's a real person could be that
I know,
way.
but the whole
and,
movie-
and Marshawn Ali's character, you know, is on the other side of. He's on a different, you know, part of the spectrum with that. Like he was like, look, you know,
But at the same time, it's like
I think you're taking it a little too hard. yeah.
possibly. But
She's an asshole
the
too.
whole-
The daughter's an asshole.
The whole
you know?
point of the movie at the end is that, you know, we're so divided, we would start
Race
our own
is in
civil
fact
war.
race is a factor in the movie. Yeah,
But,
race is a factor.
It's just like, but also it's like that too. Having that in the movie doesn't help the overall message because you're.
What's the overall message though?
They were still pushing like if that were any, you never, you know, don't trust blank people. If
It's
that
clearly racist. It's racist to say that.
if
yes.
that were any other insert word,
it
there,
would really
it
break
would-
through, and
yeah.
people are like, "What the?" And it would get canceled.
And
I
then
get you 100%. I get it.
and it's tied to Obama and
But
American president.
But again,
Hold on, let me finish.
But Marshawn Ali's character is black, and he's like
I know,
cool,
but
and
hold
he's
on.
like, look, chill out. Let's.
All they had to do, clearly, the director was or the writers were taking notes from what Obama was saying.
What if it's in the book? I don't know. We haven't read the book. What if it's in the book?
I
then?
know.
Should they have censored what was in the book?
They had to
or altered it that dramatically.
Maybe because there's a lot of division currently, and that this movie is trying to say like this could happen.
But maybe that's actually pointing it out, like how she, and then in the end she embraces Julia Roberts and they come together.
Do they?
They do. Yeah, they hugged. Remember?
So hold on, because at the end the little girl finds the doomsday bunker.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
the most annoying character, the little girl.
They got to the bunker first, that side of the family. So it's still kind of like what's going to happen about the bunker, because Marshawn Ali turned around in the car.
Well, he was like, "Are you going to be like? We're going to be together?"
And he
on
was
this.
like, "We got to make sure we're going to be," and that's implying that like no one tries to take the ultimate thing away, which is
people turning against each other. Yeah, it implies a civil war.
It kind of comes down. It kind of comes down to. Well, what is the little girl going to want to happen? Like, are they going to say, let us in only?
By the way, where was the rich family with the bunker? Where the hell were they at?
I don't know.
And the door was open and she just walks in?
Yeah.
Although she did smash the window. But you think they'd have a security system if they're that rich.
Yeah, you think they would be in the bunker.
Yeah, you think they'd be in... I mean, I could see you could explain it like, oh, well, they were caught in the city. Nobody knew it was happening.
That would have been a more interesting aspect is if...
It would have been added another hour to the movie. This is a long movie, by the way.
It was.
And it felt long.
But it would have been more interesting if the family was in the bunker and then they took the little girl in because she was alone.
You don't have enough time. It would have been another hour of movie.
But then it would have been like, well, part two, do they save the little girl
3.5 hour
out
movie.
of the bunker? You know what I mean?
I get you. But, they could have done a lot of different things. I don't know if that would have been great. But
just the movie definitely lost a point.
You gave it a 7 though. That's a high score.
I'm giving it a 7 because it was entertaining, but I'm deducting a point for the CGI.
Oh, the CGI, I agree with you. Look, doing animals is really tough.
I mean, they could have just threw 3 or 4 real flamingos in the pool for 15 seconds.
They look like they. I don't know. I was a little semi-convinced.
I don't know. It looked crappy.
It wasn't that. I've seen worse.
And what was the whole thing with the 100 deer and then the big alpha buck comes out?
All I know is if you see a buck in real life, it's dangerous.
Is it?
Oh hell yeah! Like you don't want to get close to them. Yeah, they were wild.
Was it like was it weird as if like the deer were trying to maybe eat the humans because of like
the whole thing was that animals were just out of whack and acting weird, and I don't know what the explanation for that was. It was something with the attack, like altered animal migration patterns and all this stuff. It just adds to the whole thing.
Turns animals against us too.
Yeah, animals going wild.
See what I was thinking, because I knew this was an apocalyptic movie, was that seeing deer is like, that's a good thing. You're gonna want to hunt and eat those deer in like 3 months,
unless they come at you. Yeah, that's true.
In
that's
like
good that we got deer
3 months,
still.
you're gonna be like, oh, there's a deer. There's 100 of them. Trust me. Like we've only
Kevin Bacon's character will get them.
We've only eaten 3 or 4, so there's plenty more. Kevin Bacon. Let's talk about him. I know this is going long, but we might as well. He was I guess he was. Yeah, we're going on 20. He was basically just. He was a doomsday prepper, but he wasn't to the extreme.
Not to the extreme. We don't know what he had going on in his house.
Yeah, he didn't have a bunker, but he definitely had a shotgun. Yeah, and he had the American flag out there, and
he's a Cowboys fan, which was lame. But I guess that's.
And he was from wasn't that New York?
Yeah, it was New York.
Yeah,
what are you doing in New York? Like, although the rural parts of New York it's like red, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just like you can have a blue city and like a red state, blah blah blah.
Which is shocking. But the football choice, that might be his actual football team hat that he was.
I don't know. Maybe you think like the actor did that?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if I were in a movie and they were telling me to wear a Yankees hat, I'd say nope.
Reminds me of Ed Norton, who's from Maryland, wore like an Orioles hat in this one movie, and I guess because they just generically wear a baseball hat, and anyway, whatever. But Kevin Bacon, he plays the role of like a guy who's like like, hey man, I've been paying attention, and he's paranoid, but he has reason to be paranoid.
The whole point of the movie is that we got to wisen up and then also stop
It's a
being so
cautionary
divided.
tale.
Yeah, it's a this could happen, and then of course
Very much. And Marshawn Ali, a common thing in the movie is that he has a friend who's like a big time deep state,
yeah,
some kind of intelligence bigwig, or
Yep.
maybe in the military complex.
even more wealthy than he already is.
Sure, and like really super up there,
Connected.
and and the guy revealed to him how it would unfold, or how it might unfold, and it was basically like tearing us apart from within, and how we're divided, and all that kind of stuff.
It would be the most feasible way because it would be the cheapest to let it.
The most cost effective is just because you can't invade us.
And then you got freaking that movie trailer that I sent you, the Civil War.
I haven't watched it yet, but I know I've seen a little piece of it.
So they're pushing some Civil War stuff on us.
I mean, look, here's the thing. I was talking to my wife about this. It's like, like I'm more on the lefty side of the spectrum. I don't own a gun. Liberals like me, we don't have guns.
But you know how to shoot one. That's good enough.
But where am I going to get a gun? I don't have a gun. So it's going to be all the right wing, red state guys who are going to take over. We can't do crap.
Or you know someone that has.
It's not going to be a
guns.
fair. It's not going to be like a fair fight like the Civil War in the 1800s, like the original Civil War.
I see what you're saying.
Civil War classic.
If it's red versus blue, red has mostly all.
Red
the guns.
is all. Yeah, and the military is like the officer corps is red.
That's another thing about the movie, the trailer that it's kind of in the same topic, but in that movie trailer, whatever it's called, I think it's just called Civil War USA.
I think it's called Civil War.
Civil War.
I think it's called just Civil War.
It might be called Civil War
Who's the
USA.
director? The director is a big it's not like a dumb little weird film. It's like legit. Kirsten Dunst is in it. We'll see it.
I would like to do a trailer reaction video of that.
Oh, really?
Which I'm trying to get that done.
Okay.
Because everything movies.
Well, we'll see it when it comes out too. We'll
we'll review it
and report.
But that's another thing. They make the president airstrike American citizens, and it's like,
look,
wow, yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
we'll
I like the actor who plays the president too.
Who plays him?
It's Ron Swanson.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I forgot his real name, but Ron Swanson.
I know his name. I can't think of it right, but gotcha.
Rewatchability for the movie. I'm gonna go with a 4 out of 10 because
once you see it,
it's a one and done for me, and I would maybe recommend it for someone going, what's something good on Netflix? I would go, this movie's pretty good, and I would also tack on, it was executive produced by the Obamas, so it has a little bit to do with some prior
former
knowledge.
president,
a little bit of
some reality in there.
It probably happened this way, so it's I'm sure it's relatively realistic. It's probably there's some grain of truth in there.
A lot of grains.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. It's like, my thing with movies like this is like when they have to explain everything, it's like show, don't tell. Just let the movie explain itself, by visual. I don't know. I'm just saying when they have when he's sitting in the car and explaining it's going to be 3 pieces. First happens this. It's like, okay, guy, we get it. You've been showing us the whole movie. We get it.
We've gathered that,
Yeah.
All they had to do was...
It's very much like hitting you over the head with a cautionary, this could happen, guys. Let's pay attention. That's good, but it's not entertaining.
And all they had to show was the scene where he was like, "Get off my land."
And that explains, and that shows, see how people can get divided.
It would have been everyone versus everyone, and
also circling back to the daughter who said, white people. That's an example of the divisiveness of the country and all of that.
Yeah, who not to trust, this, that, and the third. But
definitely both husbands are more like, hey, let's work together. Let's be nice. Let's be friends.
Yeah, they were kind of. It's the classic guys make friends easier with guys. It's like in 3-4
That's
days.
Incredibly sexist.
We're just. It's like in 3-4 days we're just like best friends.
Sure. Well, here's one element that I wanted to mention also. When Marshawn Ali's character pulls the gun on Kevin Bacon, that felt like, what? Come on, man. That's crazy. Because this character is so calm, cool, and collected. He's going to pull the gun. I mean, Kevin Bacon has the shotgun on the two of them, Ethan Hawke. And it's just a crazy move. And then he ends up taking the money anyway.
I thought it was,
it's like, what the hell?
I thought it was going to be more or less... Ethan Hawke was going to get very desperate, and he was going to almost shoot him, and to
maybe have him grab the gun,
or maybe not have him, and make when he's got Hawke with point, and then Marshawn has to pull it out. Like, if you, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, they could have done
know what
that
I mean?
differently.
Like the old
because
Texas,
it just didn't make sense him pulling the gun
Yeah.
on him. It's like, come on,
the old standoff.
You could have kept reasoning with him. You could have, they had the money. It's like, hey, take
Yeah.
my Bentley or whatever car that
It was
was.
basic. It was yeah, that would have been a good trade.
Here's a trade. Here's a trade.
And then it would have like been like, what, he gave them a Bentley. That's their only vehicle. Now they have to walk.
I
back.
know, I'm joking.
You know what I mean?
I'm
I mean, that
joking.
would have been like, those are
It's
creative.
like, I need a pickup. That's what I need in this post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Yeah, but those are all things the writers could have done to make it a better movie.
Take my $100,000 watch.
Yeah,
yeah.
Or
Right.
I mean, he even said,
Barter.
Why would I take cash? Cash means nothing. And then 5 seconds later,
And then he's
takes
counting
cash.
the cash. Yeah, so there was some plot screw ups there
Yeah.
that could have been. They could have put a little more time and thought into that. So
A little bit of a lazy
that made
writing.
it go to a 6 with me. And I was
Yeah.
almost at a 5. So
Well,
and rewatchability for me, I'm gonna give it a 3. Give it a
Okay,
3.
give it a 3. I give it a 4. You make me want to say 6.5, but I've already given it a 7.
You've already given it a 7
because it's a decent apocalyptic.
You still
movie.
liked
I
it.
liked
Though. You
it.
liked it. I didn't like it.
I liked the cast. I was intrigued.
I like the cast fine. I think Marshawn Ali's a great. I can't wait to see him as Blade.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Ethan Hawke's cool. Julia Roberts is Julia Roberts. She's gigantic. Well,
Yeah.
she's in the twilight of her career, but whatever you want to say.
That's gonna be a short.
Sorry, Julia.
That's gonna be.
I'm not telling her anything she doesn't know. She's on Netflix now. I mean, come on, man.
Wow. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's not knock Netflix.
Sorry, I love Netflix. It's great. And look, a lot of A-list stars are on Netflix.
Yeah, I think it's cool that
TV is A-list now.
I think it's
yeah.
cool they produce their own movies and it comes straight to you and people tune in. But they got to get the movies a little better. They're not
too many of them. I can't keep up with them all. How does they have the money? What are we at? Like 40 minutes now?
We are at 26. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up.
I give it one watch. It's interesting for right now. There's nothing else really great in the movie theater, and we're gonna do another one right
We're gonna
after
say
this.
something that was pretty darn good though in a movie. We're gonna talk about it in our next review.
Well,
right?
for you, maybe not for me.
Oh, we'll talk about it then.
All right,
Okay,
guys.
got it.
Comment down below if you saw the movie. What did you think about the whole, that line?
The upcoming Civil War.
Yeah. What do you think about what's going to happen? And what do you think or feel about ex-presidents producing movies now? Like,
Hey, look.
or at least like giving details on the script based, war movies. Like, well, it actually happened like this.
Whoops, that's classified.
Oh, sorry.
Whoops, it
It turns out it's not going to be them.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Comment down below and subscribe. We just hit 100 subscribers, and we're trying to now. Our next goal is 200. So,
All right.
All righty. All right, guys. Thanks.